Hello everyone, my name is Vimal Raj. I'm a lecturer from GEMS Polytechnic College from the department Mechanical Engineering. So today we're going to continue with the lecture number 11, that's from the unit Ferrous Metal and Alloys. So this is about the classification of alloy steel part 1. So this is from the subject Mechanical Engineering Materials 1625304 according to the SPT syllabus. Now get into the video. So the content of the lecture is classifications of alloy steels. So this is what we're going to discuss. So first of all, we need to know what is alloy steel. So introduction. So alloying is nothing but changing chemical composition of steel by adding elements with purpose to improve its property and compared to the plain carbon steel. So basically, alloy steel is the steel that is alloyed with a variety of elements in a total amount between 1% to 50% by weight to improve its mechanical property. So alloy steels are broken down into two groups, that is basically two types are there, basically low alloy steel and high alloy steels. So alloy steels are the ions where other elements besides carbon can be added to iron to improve. Basically, alloy steels are ions where other elements besides carbon can be added to improve the mechanical property, increase the strength, hardness, toughness, and to increase the strength and hardness. So it can also be having a high temperature resistance in order to increase the wear resistance, environmental property, example like corrosion. So basically the difference between the two disputes is every steel is an alloy, but not all the steels are called alloy steels. The simplest steels are like iron, which is ferrous alloyed with carbon is about like 0.1% to 0.1% to 1% depending on the type. However, the term alloy steel is a standard term referring to steel with other alloying elements added deliberately in addition to the carbon. Common alloyant includes manganese, the most common one, nickel, chromium, molybdenum, vanadium, silicon, and boron. So basically, alloy is a variety of elements that is about from 1% to 50%. So this is also from the iron group, wherein each other elements. So we know what is alloy, right? Adding two or more materials, two or more metals, or even a non-metal can be added. So this is a one type. Classification of metal alloys. There are two types. One is ferrous and non-ferrous. So ferrous comes under this cast iron, whereas white cast iron is there. Grey cast iron also is. Grey cast iron also is there. So let me show you with the pointer. So ferrous is one type and non-ferrous is another type. So it comes with the cast iron. So white cast iron, grey cast iron. So wherein it's from ferrous the steels are coming. So steels are of two types. One is low alloy steel, next one is high alloy steel. So in low alloy steel there are three types, that is low carbon, medium carbon and high carbon, and high alloy is tool steel and stainless steel. So stainless steel we already discussed. So today we will be discussing about the alloy steels. Okay. So classification of alloy steels. First we will be seeing about the low alloy. So low alloy, which is having a low carbon content, that is the percentage will be less than 0.25 percentage of carbon, and medium carbon will be having 0.25 to 0.6 percentage of carbon, and high carbon will be 0.6 to 1.4 percentage of carbon. So basically this low carbon is being classified into two, that is plain and high strength. Basically the name is plain and high strength will be there because there is no addition. In order to increase the addition we are using this copper, nickel, all those things. And medium carbon also is there. One is a plain, another one is the heat treatable, where in which the addition is none, but when you get the heat treatable, chromium, nickel, molybdenum is added. And in high carbon, there are two types, plain and cool steel. So these are the examples. Model number 1010, the low carbon and all those things, you can see it from here. From this picture itself you can understand. So the applications are like auto structure sheets, bridges, tower press, vessels, crankshafts, bolts, hammers, blades, piston gears, wear applications. So many things are there. Classification of alloy steels. Alloy steels grouped into low, medium and high alloy steels. High alloy steels would be stainless steel groups. Basically, the stainless steel that we just previously, that comes under the high alloy steel, and mostly alloy steels is used fall under the category of low alloys. So basically, these things will be falling under the low alloy categories. Alloy steels are in general with the element as 1.65% of manganese, which is lesser than 0. Which is greater than 0.6%, 60% of silicon, and or lesser than, I mean, greater than or 0.60% of copper. The most common alloy elements includes chromium, nickel, molybdenum, vanadium, tungsten, cobalt, boron, and copper. That is the things. Some of these finds used in exotic and high demanding applications, so basically such as in the turbine blades of jet engines and in nuclear reactor because of the ferromagnetic property of iron. Some steel alloys finds important applications where the responses to magnetism are very important, including in electric motor and in transformers. Since the low alloy, low carbon, the composition is less than 0.25% of carbon is there, which is around 30%. So when the carbon content is decreasing, the ductility will be increasing. So when the carbon content increases, the ductility will increase. So the microstructure for this low carbon steel is ferrite and pearlite. Properties which is having relatively soft and weak but possess high ductility and toughness. So these materials will have high ductility and toughness because the carbon content present in the alloy in the steel is very less. So because of that, uh, the ductility and the toughness will be more. Other features like it is machinable and it is easily weldable. So welding property is there, and machinable property is also there. Not responsive to heat treatment. So plain carbons will be not responsive. That means it will not response. It will not be responsible to heat treatments. Basically, it's a plain carbon steel. And applications as such as like auto body components, structural spaces, sheets, etc. So these are the applications. Auto body components is in automobile in automobile industries, they used to make the body components because these are the weightless, they have more durability, and it can be shaped as we want. So basically that's the reason they use it in a different automobile industry so that they can change it as they want. So when they press it to make it a shape, basically it will not be brittle. So because it will not be it is not breakable. And structural shapes, sheets and all, it can also be pressed into sheets, as well as the shapes can be uh, it can be shifted into any shapes. So high strength low alloy HSL steels are up to 10% of weightage of alloying elements such as manganese, chromium, copper, vanadium, nickel, molybdenum can be strengthened by heat treatment. So basically these elements can be can be strengthened by giving a heat treatment. A low carbon, medium carbon, low alloy, that's the medium carbon steel in low alloy. The next is the medium carbon steel. So the composition for this could be 0.25% of carbon, that is 0.6% of carbon will be there. The micro structure would be typically tempered martensite. So basically these medium carbon steel will be having a carbon content ranges up to 0.6%. So what happens is the ductility will be decreasing because of the increased amount of carbon, and the processing is by increasing the carbon content to approximately 0.5 with an accompanying increase in the manganese allows medium carbon steel to be used in quenched and tempered conditions. The quenching can be done when the carbon is being used for about 0.5% along with the manganese. So when these both things are added in a particular percentage, what happens is these materials can be quenched and they can also be tempered with the condition. And next one is the property, stronger than the low carbon steel but in expense of ductility and toughness. But in expense, that means it is tougher than the hardness or the strength of the material is more than the low carbon, but in expense for the ductility and toughness it is much weaker. That means what happens is it will not have the ductility, so you cannot you cannot change it in the shape. So because when you try to change that shape, it might tend to break. And the applications could be coupling, forging, gears, crankshafts, and other high strength structural components. So basically they make use of this medium carbon steel into a structural component. Steel in this is 0.40 to 0.60% carbon range are also used for railway wheels and railway axles they use because the strength is more than the low carbon steel. The next one is the high carbon steel. So the high carbon steels which will be having a carbon percentage of 0.60 to 1 percentage of carbon with manganese content ranging from 0.30 to 0.90%. So that means the ductility will be very less because the toughness and strength will be more in this higher ultra carbon steel, and the ductility will be very less, so that you cannot change the shape. The the shape changing will be very difficult. Even when you try to do that, what happens is it might tend to break because of the ductility, very less ductility. And the applications could be the high carbon steels are used for spring materials, high strength wires, cutting tools, and etc. So basically these applications will be like high carbon steels are used for spring materials basically, and high strength wires, cutting tools, and etc. So high alloy steels, that is called as a stainless steel, that is SS. We already discussed the primarily alloying element is chromium, when which the weightage will be more than 11%, because in order to, if the chromium is being increasing, it can act as a corrosion resistance and rusting will not happen. Because of that reason, the stainless steels have been used with the high amount of chromium. So high resistance to corrosion, basically high corrosion resistance will be more in this stainless steel. That's the reason people use this stainless steel in the cooking as well as uh, in the medical science field, because they use this stainless steel blades for doing this operation, surgeries, all those things. They use this stainless steel, as well as they use it in cooking also, because the vessel that we use should not be rusted. It should last longer for much more period of time. So on that basis they use the stainless steel because of the percentage of chromium that is present in the stainless steel. So nickel and molybdenum addition increases corrosion resistance. So even they will be adding more amount of nickel as well as molybdenum in addition, so that when in order to increase the corrosion resistance. So a property of a great importance is the ability of alloying elements to promote the formation of a certain phase or to stabilize it. So property of a great importance is the ability of alloying elements to promote the formation of a certain phase or to stabilize it. So these elements are grouped as four major classes, that is austenite forming, ferrite forming, carbide forming. So these are the four types. And distribution of alloying elements in steel. So alloying elements can influence the equilibrium diagram in two ways: in ternary system, that is ferrous copper, expanding the Y field and encouraging the formation of austenite, and wider compositional limits. So these elements are called Y stabilizers. Contracting the Y fields and encouraging the formations of ferrite over wider compositional limits. These elements are also called as alpha stabilizers. This is a classification of iron alloy phase diagram. What's the open field? V is an expanded field. Open field is the expanded field. So this is how the phase happens. So with that we have come to the conclusion. So today we have discussed about the types of steel, and we also studied about the alloy carbon steel, that is in what are the types are there in alloy carbon steel. These are the reference, you could see it. And thank you guys, thank you for seeing this video. So we will continue the next topic in the next video. So this is unit number 3, ferrous metal and alloys. This is lecture number 11, classification of alloy steel, part 1.